Hey, this is Captainoob, and this is a two-shot explosive Nimble lever-action rifle. We've got 3 legendary effects, which is pretty awesome. Now, this thing was originally introduced back in Fallout 4 in the Far Harbor DLC. It has made its triumphant return back into Fallout 76, as well as a couple of other Far Harbor weapons, which I don't know whether they should be here or not, but it's nice to have these weapons back, and they've actually changed a few things about them, which we'll get into now. First of all, the animations, which we'll get to later, but more importantly, this thing only fires 45s now, which is a lot smaller than the 45-70s it actually has. Interestingly, if you put the stock on that has the bullets on the back, that appears to be the size of the 45-70s that were actually in this weapon back in Fallout 4, so I don't know. Obviously, the 45s that it is using now, just to streamline it with the current ammo pool. I'm not actually sure whether they would ever going to actually add some more ammo to this, because this thing as it stands is already a rare enough weapon already. Don't want to make it even rarer by making the ammo somewhat hard to get. Anyways, how to get this weapon? Basically, you want to find yourself some sort of event around here, breach and clear. That is a good event for doing this. And if you complete those events, you've got a good chance of getting the plans, or either just a lever-action rifle for you to scrap on your own. And obviously, there's some plans that you can get. I think it's past level 25 on all of the responders vendors. And of course, finding this as a random legendary drop is highly improbable, so I do suggest hopping on over to the Market 76 subreddit and buying it yourself. If you got a bunch of caps, you can probably get it pretty easily. Alrighty, let's get into the upgrades of this thing. Starting off, we've got 338 damage, which is actually really good off the bat without any perks. So again, it's one of those weapons that you can probably just get away not having any perks spec'd into it, which is good for builds where you're not spec'd into guns and you need something to use at range, so melee players won't want to grab onto some sort of two-shot explosive weapon. Let's upgrade that, shall we? So first of all, we need to put some rifleman perks on. Expert rifleman, that's commando, and then there's rifleman there, and master rifleman just there. And we're going to switch out these perks for rejuvenated, and we're going to switch out that perk for demolitions expert as usual, and now we're going to chuck on the bloody mess perk there, and that gives us a respectable almost 1,000 damage. That's alright. In terms of the attachments of this thing, I haven't actually unlocked them all yet. This is because this thing is exceptionally rare, and sometimes, not all the time, you won't actually get a part for scrapping this thing. But in the limited times where this weapon has shown up, I've actually managed to put something together out of it. So I've got a hardened receiver, which will give us the best damage per bullet, with obviously not using a prime receiver, which is pretty good. Stabilized long barrel. Ideally, I'd like that to be aligned like the stock, and I like how the stock has the 45-70s on the back, like it did back in Fallout 4. That's kind of odd, but yep, aligned. That'll help us with recoil and also hipfire accuracy. A short scope. Normally with snipers I like to use a medium scope just to get that a little bit of extra edge at range, but I think a short scope on this is fine. It's sort of a medium range weapon anyway, and you can use it in close range too. This thing has the power and fire rate to actually get you out of close quarter situations if you're smart enough about it, which is good. And of course we've got a suppressor that'll keep us hidden, which means more sneak attack criticals, which means more damage. When crafting your ammo for this particular weapon, always use Super Duper in Luck and Ammo Smith and Agility. Make sure those things are fully ranked up so you can actually make the best bullets per component used. And feeding this thing, it's not very fussy. You can get 21 rounds out of a little bit of gunpowder, lead and steel, basically like every single other bullet in the game. And you can create these things quite easily. There's not actually a whole lot of components going into this. If anything, the steel is a little bit higher compared to some other rounds, but still, it's actually not as bad as the 38s or the 44s, which, yeah, that's some good bang for your buck. This thing is not a fussy eater at all. Oh, look, it's a surprise PvP victim. Hey, this guy is level 247. I'm gonna kick his ass so hard he'll be back to 242. He's a quick bastard, mind. Oh, okay. Let's see how we go against this guy then, eh? Ooh, he's tough. He's a tough cookie, that's for sure. I bet he's got an explosive weapon just like me. Well, at least he has no idea where I am. Is this guy bubblehead stacking? I'm not sure. Come on. Take him out. He's launching nukes at me. How are you not dying from this, man? Got him! Best 10 caps I've ever made in my life, my good man. Nah, I'm not gonna take this guy's flux. I'm not gonna dog the boys this time. I'm sure all of that bobblehead stacking was not actually, that was probably just netcode issues. Do you remember those times in Fallout 4 where you'd fire one bullet and have to reload all 5? Well, the latest patch as of this recording has sort of fixed that, which is pretty good, so you can reload exactly how much you need to top up your tube, which is good stuff. But there's a little bit of a problem with that, and it's not because of this thing being broken, it's actually kind of strange. So right now I've got 5 loaded in, I'll shoot one more chambered in, so I've got 4. Then when I hit the reload button, I reload another one in, and then immediately, you know, eject the shell that hasn't been fired yet. So I still have 4 in this thing. Yeah, I don't know, it's a little bit weird. I think there's just limitations of the animations after all of the reloads that you'd get with the, you know, when reloading the thing back in Fallout 4, you'd always get that little lever crank animation, so that is obviously a leftover from that. Obviously, I create a lot of coding, I guess, to actually make that so it doesn't have to do that lever cranking after you reload like that. But still, it's not going to matter too much. At least for gameplay reasons, we've got this thing reloading properly, which is good, because I like reloading a lot, and now I've got an incentive to always reload. When not in combat, you can shove in bullets pretty quickly into this, so it's actually a good idea to reload when you can. So, yeah. This thing only has the 5-round capacity as it does. You can't actually upgrade that by extending the barrel and then like extending the tube with it, which is a little bit unfortunate, but same thing goes for the shotgun, by the way. You can't actually, even though you've got a short barrel on it, well, like with a short barrel you'll get the same capacity as a long barrel, so maybe the tube is there just for show, but that's something they could maybe have a look at. What are you doing all the way over there? I think we're hidden. Well, there we go. We've killed these super mutants. Each of them was one-shotted. Are you surprised? I'm not. Alrighty, so a real blast at Seneca Rock's Visitor Center has started, which is going to give us hopefully some Yaoglac, because I am in the need of springs right now. So far it looks like we've only got Scorch dudes. We'll take them out from here then. For those of you who haven't done this event before, and I imagine everyone has, you basically go around activating all of these little satellites, and then the game will throw more enemies at you, and then sometimes the satellites will fail, requiring you to move around with a lot of enemies around you, so it's a lot of just chaotic fighting. And now if you've got a 2-shot explosive weapon like this one, this event becomes really piss easy, because it can just basically one-shot everything. Sometimes you'll have tougher enemies like Yaogwai. I've had honey beasts here before. Right now it looks like we've only drawn Scorched, which is going to make things easy. Because unless they're running up to me and punching me, I'm not going to have any problems actually taking them out.
All array components engaged. Activating.
Took a while to activate that one, but now we should be okay. And now we'll probably get a couple of these things fail, and then we'll be required to go and fix them. And after a certain amount, it's usually like either from 4 to 6 satellites failed, which you have to reset up. Then you'll get a nice orbital strike to look at from a distance, and then if there's any survivors left, you'll be asked to go in and clean them up.
Component failure. Immediate support required.
See? There's one of the component failures right now, so that means we just turn that back on, and we can continue with our killing spree. Okay, so our adrenaline is at 60% now, which gives us almost 1500 damage, which is more than enough to deal with a couple of Scorched dudes, that's for sure. And this one has failed again, has it? It's oscillating like a fan. What a brilliant creation those are. If I didn't have a fan with me right now, I'd be sweating my ass off. Australian summers aren't fun. And there's another one broken over here. Just wait till the game prompts us.
Repairs.
Or you could forget about having the prompt and just press the E button. It seemed to take the objective marker off it.
System orientation.
And here we go. You'll find that there's usually a bunch of Scorch dudes spawn in here. If you're doing this and there's bears or those big honey beasts, they get stuck in there and they can't move, which is kind of funny. I don't think they really thought that through when they were creating this. Anyways, we should probably get the hell out of here because there's about to be an orbital strike from the Muldoon platform or whatever. So stand back here, watch the fireworks. I'd imagine that dude in there will survive. We'll see if the orbital strike gets him. The explosions don't look too bad, I guess. Are they as good as the Megaton explosions from Fallout 3? I don't think they are, to be honest.
Orbital strike complete. Elimination of remaining hostile targets authorized.
Yep, as it turns out, this corner shop or wherever it is there is actually a decent orbital strike bunker. Too bad they just stand there. Ah, there's the bears. Where have you been all this time? Also, if you bloody mess bears, for some reason this bit always floats in midair. It's also got collision on it, so you can just jump on top of it, which is odd. And then we've got the thing completed. We've actually got a legendary combat armor out of that.
Thank you
Cool.
for your participation.
I actually thought that stump was the Mothman for a second. Harvesting springs with this weapon is incredibly easy. You just point at bears, you fire, and then you walk over to the corpse and then pick the springs up. All nice and hidden under my chameleon armor, although funnily this bear will look directly at me, so his head tracking AI can detect me but not the bear himself, so sorry old mate, you gotta die. I'll shoot you right between the eyes. It is a merciful end for one bear absolutely destroyed by radiation. We'll have no problem against these ghouls. We'll just draw them out first with a little bit of escape artist. We'll be right back to undetected. You better go away, Mr. Ghoul. Yeah, you don't give me as much XP as you used to, do ya? And now, whilst these ghouls are coming to investigate, we'll just bounce splash damage off the death table, and then we'll be okay. There's going to be a pile of corpses here. Luckily, they'll all fade away into meat piles when the next player comes about, so hopefully we'll be able to go through the loot a little bit easier when they're all like that. Okay, we are in danger now. That should draw out the rest of them if there are any left, which there is. I can still hear them. That's good. They're not coming up on the radar, which is odd, but we'll quickly just jump away and shoot this guy with no cares whatsoever. This is just cheese right here. It's making the game way too easy. And when you saw being on the receiving end before, unless you're in power armor and are able to glitch out of being hit by not being on the ground, we'll get to that a little bit later, you can actually, well, there's no way you can survive this, to be honest. We'll just come around the corner, please. Even though I'm playing, like, relatively aggressively with this thing, the fact that you don't have to reload it, like, for 5 bullets every time you do press the R key or the square button or the X button, depending on what console or platform you're on, makes this a very good weapon. You can just reload it whenever you need, because there's going to be moments in combat where there's a pause. Always going to be moments of combat, like right now. I can top up my ammo supply and then immediately eject another shell, which means I'm back to where I had before. And now I've got another couple of dudes running at me. Now, the beauty about two-shot explosive weapons is that it won't even matter if there's a bunch of them or even a few of them running at me, because no matter what, I can deal with them just by shooting at the ground, and then splash damage will take care of the rest. Another one bites the dust, and another one down, and almost another one. Ooh, we got duped there. That's okay. We'll just kill that guy. Be sure not to fire too close to ourselves, because that'll result in our immediate and instantaneous death. And with that, I think we've cleared out these ghouls. There might be a couple of others in the corner that haven't been aggroed. Nope, looks like we're completely clear. So, yeah. This place has just got a pile of dead ghouls that have just been left by the server, but we went through them very, very quickly and with no great personal injury, except for the couple of times where I did get hit. A little bit sloppy, but still, this thing, even in those bad situations, can get you out of it as easy as you can get yourself into it. I'm gonna make Swan go bye-bye very quickly. No use screaming if you're already dead. Okay, so about this Nimble effect. Notice how it says faster movement speed while aiming. Well, I'm not aiming right now, and you do move a little bit faster. You can notice it. You probably can't see it during the gameplay playback, but still. Notice how this is also procced, even though we're not aiming down sights. I think the Nimble effect is a little bit broken. You actually move a tiny bit faster with this weapon drawn out. So it's actually kind of good for covering a lot of ground if you'd like to go on foot somewhere. So that's alright. Regardless of that, let's just get into these crabby dudes, and then we see if we can't summon the Mirelurk Queen. Ideally, we'd like to one-shot him, but we didn't quite enough adrenaline to actually do that. But that's okay. Every single other one of these crabs have gone down very, very easily so far. There we go. There goes one of them. Another one goes down. And now it's only up to the mummy. Where is the queen this time? Firing an unsuppressed weapon definitely helps, I guess, and with that, the Mirelurk Queen is out. Please tell me we've got that adrenaline. No, we don't. Too bad. Oh well. Not like it's gonna matter all that much, eh? Now he's dead. Or she's dead. Sorry for misgendering you. I'll be better next time. Now we're in power armor. I've got a bunch of stealth boys that I haven't been using, so... Can I not activate it whilst in power armor? Well, it's making the sound like I ought to, but... No, I can't. Well, never mind. Let's just kill this Scorched Beast the good old-fashioned way. Now, you'll notice with this weapon that sometimes its explosive damage is a little bit on the inconsistent side. And throughout my use of explosive weapons, I've noticed that enemies tend to take a lot more damage if you're A, using bats, or have something on the ground, something with a collision to bounce the explosions off of. Because as you can tell with these shots here, they're not doing as much as I was doing with bats. And now that he lands, we should be able to one-shot him if we shoot right under his feet. Well, we did until he healed off the damage, but you get what I mean, right? Another bat dude has spawned in, so whilst he's on the ground, I'll get a cheeky shot on him. And now I'll just gather some extra adrenaline damage by killing these Scorched dudes who don't know where I am. So... now that they're all out of the way, we should be getting some nice bonus damage, and now he's coming to the landing. Unfortunately, we've been spotted because I'm not using all of my glorious chameleon armor. But even so, we can easily take this guy out in a one-on-one DPS war. Not a big surprise there. Welcome to Red Filter World, where there's nukes around and there's mushroom clouds, and it just doesn't look as nice. So notice as he's flying around very, very quickly that we're not getting nearly as much damage on him, despite him being a lower level Scorched Beast. Well, I think that's because either I'm lagging a little bit or something's wrong with the netcode, but for some reason sometimes it just doesn't hit quite as hard. It's not really much of a problem because we're just using a weapon that is just a weapon of mass destruction anyway, and had I been wearing chameleon armor right now, I'd be okay right now, but he's just gonna dab, and whatever he did before, maybe that was to intimidate me, but I'm not really feeling that intimidated, to be honest. And what did you have for me? Is that a handmade rifle? No, just an assault rifle. The irony of finding a dude with nuke codes within a mushroom cloud. So I think I'm going to leave things there with the two-shot explosive Nimble lever action rifle. You've seen what this thing can do, and it is an exceptionally good weapon. The fact that it's super cheap to run with ammo that you can pretty much get from level 1. There's a lot of dudes who carry around the 45s. This thing is incredibly ammo efficient, so you'll be dealing the damage just fine. The ammo is easy to craft, so there's very little that I can say that is bad about this weapon. I guess you could make an argument that its DPS isn't the best because you've got other TSA weapons which fire faster, and there's bigger, badder weapons like the big old machine gun with TSA that does a lot better, but still, it's hard to knock this. But the real trick is getting the weapon. So like I said before, doing as many events down in the ash heap as you can will give you the best chance of picking this up. And once you pass level 25, pop into your local responder vendors now and then just to see if they've got that. I've definitely seen it before. I haven't seen it in a while, so it might be a little bit rare, but maybe fortune is in your favor. You'll have lady luck on your side like Mr. New Vegas used to say, and maybe you'll find that there. Then you can craft all of the lever action rifles to your heart's content and learn all the parts. Thank you very much for watching, guys.